Hey viewers, we're here with the final update on what went down at the Med Center.
We had to leave pretty quickly once we were caught, but we realized we had enough to piece together what was happening.
And if you've watched the last video, you'll know that when we went into the room where our so-called ghost was hiding, all we could see was a bright blue light.
Yeah, it was kind of a lot. Finding a bright light at the end of a long hallway is both terrifying and cliche.
It did seem very much like a ghost if you don't know what it is.
It was Sidney who finally cracked the case.
Duh.
So before we went to the hospital, we did a little bit more research on the building, and as it turns out, back in 1955, the hospital was treating an outbreak of the Zoinks flu, which causes high fevers. A fever over 102 can cause hallucinations, which could explain why people saw her and then died. Those were some of the worst cases.
So, Sid, if it wasn't a ghost, what was it?
It's a device that tracks your information and makes recommendations, especially on what to buy.
From what we could tell, companies could pay a great deal of money to have their products suggested in ways that weren't too obviously an advertisement.
But to do it, it was compiling massive amounts of information. Once Sidney had figured that out, Ace managed to hack into the system, and he figured out how much it knew about Sidney and Iris.
It wasn't too hard to do.
Ace is a master at coding.
It's just a hobby. The code is really easy.
Please just let us compliment you.
No.
The point is, what he found was really disturbing. It had a lot of what you'd expect to make perfect ads, but also a lot of weird stuff too.
Oh, we should probably backtrack and tell them how we solved it.
It was actually what that conspiracy theorist said that made me think of it. He actually didn't say what the tech company was, but I remembered what we read about the building being its headquarters before.
Once we knew that the ghost was giving recommendations, it seemed obvious that there was something going on besides just a regular haunting.
Well, the recommendations are one thing, but it knew specific details about both of our lives.
Like, that's weird, right? That it knew yours, I mean. You don't work in that building. How did it know anything about you?
Well, the thing is, it's not just like a home assistant. Don't get me wrong, those can be invasive too, but this one didn't have a trigger phase to turn it on or off.
No, basically you can't turn it off.
It was always listening, which means if this ever went beyond prototype, this company would have access to all this information that you said in front of the smart assistant.
Right. It's hard to say whether this speaks badly about this company since they just left it behind when they moved, but I don't know, I think it has some pretty worrisome implications, don't you think?
It sure does. This sounds like a really good capstone project.
This is your capstone project?
Yeah, well, I never doubted it would work.
I did, constantly.
Well, it worked. And, you know what? We finally bonded as a house, the way I always said we would.
You were just so obnoxious when you first moved in. A million trips to Trader Joe's does not make us best friends.
Spoken like someone who's never set foot in a Trader Joe's.
Ace and I always wanted to become better friends with you two, but it was hard to figure out how to do it.
So, even if we didn't find a ghost,
or enough information to know for sure if we feel safe in a city that's basically run by this company,
we became better friends. This is the Mystery Crew signing off.